This brings me right back to the purge. Here we are again.
We're not codependent. We're not, Garcia, we're not codependent.
Are you in my circle of trust?
Other signs of suspicion.
Am I opting in doubt?
Friendship. What it means to have good friends, and are we suffering from a loneliness epidemic in the UK? I'm Izzy.
And I'm Garcia.
And welcome to Informally Informed. So, any thoughts?
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on friendship. They do say that no man is an island, but I'm a woman and I'm willing to give it a go. I feel like, I say this all the time, right? It's not that I'm antisocial. I'm actually quite social. No, I'm actually quite social. I have a lot of friends, but I do differentiate between friends, acquaintances, and just people I know, because I don't class everyone as my friend. So I guess when I hear about things like that and I'm like, you really only have me, well done. I mean, I
have quite a significant
You know
number
a lot of people.
of friends.
It's not the same thing. We've just been through this.
No, we didn't.
We did. I just said that. There are friends, there are people you know, and there are acquaintances.
So you're relating that directly back to me.
Yes.
There's a pyramid. I have a lot of acquaintances. Acquaintances, I would categorise them differently. I'd put acquaintances, mates, friends. Do you disagree?
This is Britain. Mate is just a term of endearment. So I'm like, all right, mate. But that don't mean that we're besties.
There's no other way to categorise them. You saying people that I know and acquaintances, they mean the same thing as well. So.
They are not the same thing, because you know acquaintances a bit more than people that you know. People you know are people that you see in passing.
Acquaintances are people that you know.
No.
So if I was to go to, I don't know, some sort of event in Manchester, right? Everybody that I meet there, that I know there, are acquaintances, right? Unless I make the special effort to move them up into the mate category and move them into the friend category.
Okay. All right.
Obviously there's no other way of, in my mind at least,
I can
categorising.
see it, but I just don't agree for the simple fact that it's just, okay.
Doesn't matter how we're categorising them, we both agree that there's 3 stages.
Yeah, okay, we fine. I guess we're doing it again.
Concede defeat. It's fine. It is what it
this is not a defeat.
So we've got acquaintances.
Okay,
so got
do you know
mates,
what?
so
when I said
friends.
I had like you, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
That's a lie.
No, this is like this brings me right back to the purge. Here we are again. Here we are again. Is it?
First Nigel Farage.
Oh,
now
no.
The purge. Let it go.
Because
Garcia,
if I could think of ways in which to end you, but then bring you back, I absolutely would take it.
What would be the point?
Well,
where's the logic? As a blue personality, check out our previous episode.
Because I want to get out my frustrations, and sometimes the only way I can foresee that with you is via the means of ending you. Okay,
murder. Just we go in there. Okay.
I never said it. I never said it. You know, there's loads of different ways to end you. That isn't,
plotting revenge. Anyway, moving off topic.
We're moving off topic, and I'm not willing to admit anything on camera. You know what I mean? If she suddenly went missing,
if I end up dead in a ditch.
No.
See this episode.
I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Anyway, moving off topic. So the acquaintances, your friends are the people that you rely on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your mates are the people that you choose to hang out with, but don't necessarily pursue those sort of deep kind of friendship connections, the inner workings on of their minds, all that kind of stuff. But you will go to the pub with them, you will hang out with them, you will have a laugh with them. And acquaintances are just people around.
Okay, so the way that I look at that is there's people I know in terms of I meet people day in, day out. That doesn't mean that you don't know anything about me. You just we've been polite once or twice. That's fine. Acquaintances, again, like you said, I guess like you said, it's the same sort of thing. Acquaintances I would have hung out with you in a social situation. We might know one or two things, we might have a few friends in common, stuff like that. But we're not. Well, but for me, that stage is quite broad, because unless we're on a deeper level, when we're still not friends. Like, are you in my circle of trust?
Or the triangle of suspicion.
And my octagon of doubt? Which are you in? Because for me, there's nothing else here. You either know me or you don't know me. And if you're like, all right, mate, this is Britain. All right, mate. We ain't friends.
Yeah.
I want to say that if you got run over by a bus, I'd walk away, but that's not true either, because, by law, I'd have to stop. So, I'm not that heartless. So, of course, there's those things. It's not like and that's the other thing, because I would help people. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are friends. It just means I got a kind heart, which is something that you wouldn't know anything about, but let me explain to you.
I have an incredibly kind heart.
Do you mean that swinging brick that you have?
Are we still annoyed about the cheese incident? Let it go.
I'm not still annoyed about the cheese incident.
That's me showing you my kind heart. I don't want to see you with diverticulitis.
If that's you showing me your kind heart, you need therapy and some immediate intervention. You need to rethink how it is that you are. Your personality, if you will. But, okay, I said all that to say this, right? Friendships are things that you have to work. Friendships, like all relationships, require work.
They require effort.
Yeah, they do.
And if you've never had any... I don't know if issues is the right word, but sit-down conversations and going, right, let's talk about the state of our friendship, then I would argue that you're not really friends with that person.
Yeah, because I feel like there's different levels to this. If you're calling that person a friend, right, there has to be a level of reliability there. And I don't mean like, I need you, you're there. That doesn't always mean physically I need you, you're there. It's more like like you would in a relationship.
Even if they're just a safety blanket, knowing that there's somebody there.
Yeah.
Even if you're not picking up the phone and taking action with that.
And as we say this now, I think of a wonderful girlfriend, calling you my codependent life partner. And
how many women are a codependent relationship?
And it's kind of like...
Are we? Are we?
I don't think we are, but I can totally see the argument that... whilst I don't agree...
She did say to you, like, oh, who do you call? And you were like, Izzy. And she was like, well, what if Izzy's not available? Who do you call? And you were like, Izzy.
But then, I don't know what that says about me, though. Because if you're my go-to person, the state of affairs are in a dire straits. But no, I you totally see the argument, wherein we're a little bit codependent.
I mean, we live round the corner from each other, number one.
We do this podcast together, so I see you all the time.
Exactly.
We have overlapping friends.
Do we? I mean, all of our overlapping friends you met through me.
That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true. But there's...
Like who? Who?
How did we meet, Izzy?
I thought we were using the word friends in a sentence.
Oh, I see what you did there. The shade. The shade. Oh, vitriolic. Anyway, yeah, I guess we don't really have that many overlapping friends, but I do have other friends.
Well, I've got other friends.
You've got other friends. And yet we spend so much time together. When do we see these other friends?
But here's the thing, right? All of my other friends, even like 75% of them have never met you.
Yeah,
they know who you are.
Same.
They know who you are.
Same.
Because I talk about you in like
context. And like because most of the do you know what it is? Most of the stories, well, the ones that actually, the ones I'm talking about in terms of us, like she's there, so it's gonna come up. You're gonna come up. And we do a lot of things It's gonna come up. Oh my God. Am I having some sort of mental breakdown? Is this the state of my life where you, I need to make new friends.
We have plenty of friends.
I know. Damn it.
I don't need any. I don't actually think I need any new friends.
I don't need new friends. I'm just.
And what's interesting as well is the way people define their friendships. Because I've had several conversations with several different people who will say things to me like, "Oh, is he? You're like one of my best friends," and I'm thinking, you're just kind of a person that I know. So I think, and I had this conversation with...
This came up recently, we had this conversation.
Yeah, and it followed off a conversation that I had with one of our friends, somebody that we both know, who I went camping with. And I sort of explained this to her, and she said, well, you know, you're my go-to. She told me that I was her go-to, but she understands that she's not my go-to, because Garcia's my go-to. Yeah. So I think it sort of depends on how, like, friendship is defined by your willingness to sort of open up with people and explain and show vulnerability, essentially. But the best way to show strength is to show vulnerability, right?
That's what they say.
So
tell that to Samson.
If you're somebody,
and Delilah cut his hair off. Go on.
If you're somebody that talks about their life and talks about their stresses and isn't a very secretive person, then it could come across to other people like you are closer than what you actually are, because you're like that with everybody. And it all depends very much on how they define the word friend as well.
Yeah,
because I've got very strict criteria. Like, I won't say in conversation, like if I was talking to someone from work, I was talking about somebody from work, I wouldn't say, oh, my friend such a body. I'd say, oh, somebody that I know, because they're not my friend, because I work with them.
But then because of this sheer amount of time that we spend together, far too much, our vocabulary is very similar in that respect. I don't talk about people and say my friend unless I'm actually friends.
And you know what? I used to. And then I started hanging out with you. Yeah. And that's gone from my vocabulary. Yeah.
Because I don't. Because there are people that... So, I think I said this a few months ago. I've started... at work with a person that, yeah, I've seen them outside of work a fair few times, but I didn't feel like we were friends. But I didn't realise that they felt that we were friends. So after stepping back and looking at that relationship, I realised that actually, do you know what? The only reason I don't feel like that is because the effort was never made on my side. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of... I can understand where it's like, it's difficult sometimes, but I think it's that thing where it has to be mutual. It has to be mutual.
And that requires a conversation.
Yeah. And now that we've had that conversation,
hang on,
I must say, this person is an amazing person, but again, I didn't even notice enough to put in the effort, but the effort that I'm making now, I should say.
Hang on a sec. I think there's a possibility that we're going too far into, like, we don't want to be in a situation, we don't want to give people watching this the impression that in order to be friends with us, you've got to ask us out in inverted commas, will you be my friend? Are we friends now?
Oh my God.
Like you would like it, like it's a bloody relationship status. Because that is... So,
it's complicated.
By saying that there's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
That implies some sort of status.
I agree.
Which isn't
it's
the
not
case.
The case, but I do think it has to be somewhat mutually agreed. I mean, if otherwise you're just not gonna do it. If somebody's ringing you, and who do you call in those moments of low lows? That's the way I look at it.
I call you.
I know, and I let you call me. So that's
you call me. You call me.
Rarely. I let
Often.
you call me because
Often.
you check. No, actually, you call me more to check to see how I'm doing. But I also feel like that's because we know each other.
Yeah. But the only reason I do that is if I know that you've had a shitty time. And the only reason I know that is because you rang me to tell me.
Or we've seen each other and I've spoken to you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see the point there. And
sometimes you ring me just to check that I'm okay.
Yeah, I do, because I can sense these things.
I
Based
don't
on the kind of message that you sent me, I can tell. I can tell what's going on with you. And it also depends on how shitty you're being. I can tell. I can tell.
Do I get shittier?
You get short. And I can tell, so I just tend to give you a bit of time to calm down, then ask you if you're done yet. Because I'm here for listening.
Here's a question. Am I high maintenance?
Oh, incredibly so. Oh.
Am I?
You stress me out.
I never really figured myself as quite high maintenance.
It
It depends how you define it.
It totally depends, because you are and you're not. Because for me, it offsets. I don't find... It's the same way that people say that you've got a resting bitch face. And I'm like, not really. What are you talking about? Or people say that you haven't got any feelings. And I'm like, yes, she does. She's not a robot. What are you talking about? Of course she does. Or when people say that you're hard to get to know. And I'm like, really, do you know what? You're not a very good person.
People say all those three things
people
about
actually
me.
do, though. And I'm like,
regularly.
Making this shit up. Or turning it into a joke. But I'm like, listen, if you actually took the time to get to know her, what are you talking about?
I'm not intimidated. People think I'm intimidating. I don't get it. I don't see it.
I'm
honest.
I'm intimidated by your breath. That's it. That's it. That's it. No, you're right. I don't find you intimidating, but then I understand how other people, because I've seen it in real time.
How do you mean?
Like, some of the things that you go to, I've been there with you and I've seen people try to interact with you and you just not notice. But I also feel like that's... You either have your attention or you don't, and that's kind of it. And I feel like that's the same with anyone.
I think that's one of my flaws. Either I'm interested in you as an individual or I'm not.
Yeah.
And if I'm not interested in you as an individual, I put no effort into getting to know you. But that's apparently that's just a personality trait that I have. I'm not great with small talk. I don't really, if I'm not interested in you and you try to start a conversation with me, you'll know pretty quickly that I'm not interested. But it's not because I'm trying to be rude. She's just rude. Not. I zone out a lot at the time. Okay, let's talk about the effort and the work and what's involved. And do we think there is a sort of loneliness thing going on? Because I've never really noticed that.
I've never noticed it, but we don't live our lives on social media. I feel like this is part of the issue here. People have come away from social interactions. These days, even if you want a date, you can't just go out and meet someone at a bar anymore. You meet them on a website, on a, what do you call them, app. A lot of people post their lives on Facebook to garner sympathy or garner some sort of reaction. They're not living their lives. I take pictures sometimes. I never post them anyway because I forget. Look how many we are experience driven people, so we are not feeling the same level of it, of sort of that being alone in a house staring at a computer, just alone in our underwear, and all the people that we don't know any of these friends that we have online in real life. Do you know what I mean? It's just not that.
All of my friends, even the ones that don't live close to me, like my American friends, I've got friends up and down the country. We know people that we've met travelling, that live on the mainland, all that kind of stuff. We've all met them face to face. I don't think I know anybody that I've met online.
No, I don't have any internet friends. All the people I know in real life. And I think that's the other thing. So a lot of people... I know Olga in real life.
Yeah, you met through me, but I met her on the internet.
Did you?
Yeah, so fun story. So I met
Olga. Not know that.
I met her on a Facebook group for property investors. We were messaging back and forwards, and I said, it turns out we lived literally like 5 minutes away and we were going to meet up, but then we never ended up doing so. And then maybe like 6 months, a year later, I was on the London Underground on the tube. And then I had a wristband on for a property event I was going to, and this woman sort of comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, are you going to the same event I'm going to?" And I said, yeah, what's your name? She's like, "Oh, Olga." We started chatting. And then she was like, "Oh, where do you live?" And I sort of told her where I lived, and she's like, "Oh my God, you were that person." She literally lives like 3 streets away from Garcia, or she used to, but she moved 3 streets away from Garcia.
Yeah. Hi, Olga. Oh, we miss Olga. I wonder how she's getting on. But yeah.
But apart from that, and that doesn't really count because I did technically meet her IRL and it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence. But then I met her at one of your barbecues. And, well, you know, then it went on from there. But I guess I've not really... I mean, I've got some... I've had some terrible things happen, but I honestly, I don't think I've got any internet friends, like friends that I've met just solely on the internet. It's just not that way. I just think what's happened to life.
Even the people, Sam, Rosanna, shouting out to you guys. They live in West Virginia. I chat to them pretty much at least every other day, at the absolute minimum. But I met them IRL.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like...
I stayed with them for 3 days.
Do you think this is generational?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is with the young people these days and their social networks and their social interactions and the socials.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm like, go out, touch grass, go. What happened to playing outside and meeting friends in your neighborhood? People don't even do that now.
Do you think it's harder? It's definitely harder to meet people these days. It's like Simon Sinek. Do you know who Simon Sinek is?
Of course.
He said that a lot of young people will readily admit that they don't rely on their friends. They have fun with their friends, but they also know their friends will cancel on them if something better comes along. And I think that's the way society's gone. Even a lot of our generation. I make plans with someone. They're like, oh, I can't. I've got to cancel. I've got to do this instead. I've got to do this. There doesn't seem to be any. No, I agree to this. I've done things in my life when I've had better offers.
You should not be proud of.
When I've had better offers after the fact, and I've gone ahead and I've done that thing because I told that person that I would do that thing with them. And the minute I've agreed to it, I'm like, oh, why did I bloody agree to it? Why did I agree to go to the cinema with all my friends to see a movie that I can't even be bothered to see, and somebody else has invited me to somewhere else? Do you know what I mean? But you don't cancel on people.
There's differences though.
Trust is essential. And
trust is essential.
This is not just about friendship. This is the way you should be living your life.
I agree.
Never cancel on anybody.
That's not reality, because
it's reality for me.
That's fine, but I think that things come up. But I also feel like you have to have that level of understanding in friendships.
Sure, of course, there's a level of understanding, and things do come up. But if it's happening regularly, that's a problem.
But then there's also what you're doing it for, because I sort of feel like, for me anyway, after too much social interaction, I struggle really hard. I burn out to shit. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to try. And I think it's that level of effort. And I feel like you have to try. And I agree, it can't be a continuous thing. And I sort of feel like you need to be able to communicate those things. There was times in our friendships where I struggled with communicating those things. So I think there has to be a level of understanding. But then I also feel like that comes with time. You cannot make a lasting friendship overnight.
If you've only just met someone, or if you have recently got yourself a new friend, and they cancel on you, you're not to know that that's not like them, because you don't know them yet.
Yeah, and I think your level of expectations should be realistic. You should have realistic levels of expectation. So if for example, I was having an emergency, which quite often it's because of something. Yeah.
Several times.
Usually it's some sort of injury. I've done something. I was trying to do something else. I've had to call Izzy to come and save me from myself many, many times. Oh, do you remember when I got famously recently got injured and I had to call Izzy? She was in the middle of doing something. She was in the middle of a date, actually. And I had to call her to come and save me because I needed some support.
Yep.
She dropped it to come, but I feel like that's an acceptable level of expectation because we've been friends for a long time. But I wouldn't say expect that from Laura. But then saying that, Laura used to be our camera person, but saying that, I wouldn't actually call her. So there's that as well. Because I feel like it has to be realistic on both sides. Like, you can't just call everybody to come and save you. Like, that's not going to work out. And eventually, you will...
And she also doesn't drive, to be fair.
I don't think it's not a matter of that. even if you had to get an Uber to me, I feel like you would. It's
Oh,
not.
of course,
it's not
of
that.
course, of
It's a
course.
matter of reliability. It's a matter of you need to have realistic expectations of the people that you know and the level of which you know them. Because if you're not taking into consideration what's going on in their life as well, then are you even friends, or are you just a leech? Are you a friend, or is your expectation of them just? Are you just expecting things from them that you wouldn't necessarily be able to live up to? You also need to be able to live up to that. Because if Izzy called me in the middle of the night to come out to her, mate, I'd be there. Like when Izzy went away to America and I had to deal with her annoying ass cat that sat at the top of my stairs and screeched down my house for 2 bastard months. But I did it. Just like when we decided to get our dog.
Right, okay. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
I'm sorry, you're interrupting. Okay. When we decided to get our dog, in which she promised that she, you know... I'm just trying to say that right now, you're liable for child support. That's what I'm saying.
I know, this is what actually happened.
saying that you're not holding up. 1 pack of wipes does not a baby daddy make. All right.
This is what actually happened, right? Garcia said that she was thinking about getting one of Steve's puppies. Shout out, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
And I told her in no uncertain terms, we went for breakfast. We do that a lot.
You said
that I didn't think, hang on, let me finish. That I thought about it long and hard and thought that I didn't think it was a very good idea. Because I
then you decided that it was a good idea.
No, what I said was, I wouldn't mind if you got a puppy. Because I like puppies. But I'm not the one that has to live with it. I don't think that you should be getting a puppy when you've got all this other stuff going, blah, 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 blah. You know how conversations go. And then Garcia was like, right, I've thought about what you said and I decided I'm going to get the puppy. And I was like, right, okay. Next thing I know, it's, guess what? Me and Izzy are getting a puppy. We're getting a puppy.
Okay.
What are we going to call
your
the
version
puppy?
of events are somewhat skewed and missing key detail.
But I did have a promise to look after.
She did promise. She did
and
promise.
I have done that. Every time when you go away for the weekend?
One weekend.
I've only been away once. Twice. But to be fair, Laura.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
And I come round to your house and walk your dog.
I've come round to... Okay, fine. This is not a competition, I guess, because... Alright. Well, I'm trying to say that you need to step up, okay? I'm feeling a little bit stressed right now with the child, and I need you to take her for the weekend.
Child I didn't want. I didn't want this child.
She's already here.
I was forced into this situation.
Okay, she's already here, so step up. What would your dad say? This is his granddog you're talking about. This is the way you're carrying on. Jesus. Anyway, let me just give Izzy a moment to sort out our priorities. Are you done?
I didn't pick up the dog.
Our puppy, Kale.
Which I didn't even get a say in naming. So clearly it's not our puppy.
Oh my god, are you going to let this go? Kale can have a middle name. If you really want Kale to have a middle name, you get to choose that, alright? Let me know when you've chosen one.
Okay.
And I mean, I love that you want naming rights, but are you paying? Bruh. Anyway.
I've changed my mind, I don't want naming rights.
Yeah, thanks. Can we just focus and get back to the topic?
Go on.
In terms of those things, I know that if there was an issue or anything like that, I'd be able to call Izzy. And I sort of feel like, as I said before, you need to temper your expectations of people. You need to understand that if you are having those expectations of people, they need to be able to have those expectations of you too. And I feel like that's the part that's missing in these friendships. These 2-3 months, I met them 2-3 months ago. They know everything about my life. That is a problem. Stop telling people your business. Because not everybody can take that in. And I mean, I understand if you're with them day in, day out, and you're spending like 8 hours a day, do you know what I mean? I understand that. But you need to figure out what goes into your friendships, what you want them to look like, and and also have the self-awareness to know that if you don't respect that person, you can't be friends with them. If you don't think that they're honest, you can't be friends with them. If they're not willing to be honest with you, do not be friends with them. And
I think it's important to remember as well, you don't have to. I'm like some of my closest friends I don't speak to every day.
Oh no.
Quite often I speak to them every week or sometimes even every month.
Some of the people that I consider my closest friends, God, my friend lives around the corner, right? I've known him since I was 18 years old. He lives not 10 minutes away from my house. I've not seen him since April. But I know that when we do meet up, we're just catching up on what we missed in each other's lives. It's not life happens. You know, we still got a life, live, love, laugh. We've still got to do those things. Relationships happen. You're not going to have people that are in your day-to-day life. But are you able to pick up those friendships as though nothing happened, nothing's changed between you? And I think that's a measure of friendship for me as well. Are you going to catch an attitude when I've got other stuff going on in my life? Like, do you feel like you need to be my priority at every time? That's not to say that I won't be investing in that friendship. But do you need to be in every aspect of things? Like, do you? Because at that point, you're not my friend. You're my child. Like, you don't need to be in every single part. Except you, who is my companion, if you will.
Codependent life.
No! I'm trying to think of a better way to put this. I don't want us to be codependent. We're going to have to work on this. We might need
We're not codependent. We're not codependent. We're not, Garcia, we're not codependent.
We're not
If
codependent.
I wasn't there to take you to the hospital when you damaged your elbow, you'd be calling in an Uber and getting in the car.
And then I'd be calling you when I'm there to let you know where I am.
Right.
No, we're not codependent.
But
well, no, but I can see how people would think that we are, but we're not. We actually don't. We're not like hanging out with each other every day.
No,
No,
we're not.
No.
But nobody does. So we see each other, even if it wasn't for the podcast, probably twice a week.
Yeah. Mm.
So, okay, so then, is there a solution to this sort of, because there are a lot of people that lack friends.
Mm-hmm.
So then the question you got to ask yourself is it society or is it them? Or is it a mixture of both? And what about apps like the Meetup app? There are loads of places you can go to just go on Meetup, see what's available. There's a walking group in my area, turn up to that and stuff like that. There's loads of stuff going on.
I think it comes down to effort. I do think that personality plays a massive part because some people are just unpleasant. So part of that is having the self-awareness to work on yourself. It can't be everybody else's fault.
Like a certain somebody that was messaging me, one of my friends, well, acquaintances, messaged me the day after he texted me. I was at an event.
Yes, I remember.
I was at an event, so I didn't text him back. I was planning on, but I was busy. It was a weekend event in London, Battle of Ideas. And he sent me a very nasty email going, I can't believe you've ignored me, this, that and the other.
I find that to be strange because there's going to be life. Life is happening. What do you have to catch up with or catch up on if you're in every aspect? What is there to talk about if you already know everything? Do you know what I mean? And
there's loads of stuff.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
But that's a good sign of a good friendship, though. The fact that you can talk about stuff even if there's nothing else to talk about.
Mm.
If you've covered the news,
the weather.
If you've covered the weather,
we're Brits.
If you've covered how was your childhood, tell me all about your past traumas and how's the relationship going and how was work and all the usual
Trauma Olympics.
So if you know everything about somebody and you've already discussed what's happening recently, you've already talked about your plans for the future and your dreams, all that sort of stuff. We never run out of things to say.
We never run out because we have interests.
Do you know what else is?
We don't have the same interests.
Do you know what else is interesting as well? And I've noticed this a lot with certain individuals. How comfortable are you with somebody in silence? That's an important one because I've given people lifts down to London and places like that, and you can just tell the minute sometimes I just like to listen to what other people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I do quite a lot. If somebody's in the, telling me an interesting story, I go, oh, right, okay. And I just listen to what they're saying. Or if I don't feel like I've got anything to contribute, I'm not going to speak just for the sake of speaking. And then they'll finish what they'll say, and there'll be sort of a silence. And then you can automatically practically hear the cogs turning of, oh God, what do I say now? What do I say now? What do I say now? And then they'll just keep going. Whereas I don't feel like me and you can fall into silence and we'll just sit there for a while and it'll be fine. You get your phone out, I get my phone out. Or we won't even do that.
Yeah, I
have no problem even in a restaurant if it falls into silence. And I think that being comfortable with silence is something that portrays whether you intended to or not as confidence.
I agree. So, someone recently said to me that I give off a false confidence. I remember I was talking to you about this.
Mm.
And I questioned, well, what do you mean by that? And I think it's that ability to sort of, I do a lot of listening. Mm. So I think that sort of makes it seem that I'm fine, which I am. But I'm quite an anxious person, but I am just fine with silence. And actually, I crave silence more than I do anything else. But I also have random thoughts. So I feel like those things. Can you sit with yourself? Because I feel like if you can't do that, you'll find it difficult to sit with other people. Like, I go to the cinema by myself because I've paid for my ticket. I want to watch the movie. I do not want people talking to me when I'm watching the film. So I'll do that. And quite often I'll go out, take myself out for breakfast or a dinner because I might want to do that, but I don't want to interact with other people.
I'm going to Scotland for a week in January on my own.
Just
in my
to
car.
go chill.
I was talking to somebody else about it and they said, oh, I really want to go to Scotland. I thought, shall I invite them? Then I thought, no, I don't want anybody to go with me. I just want to go on my own.
I do that once a year. I go on holiday just on my own. And I don't see anything wrong with that because I want to just take things in at my own pace and not have to deal with another person, their wants or needs. And I think that it's that ability to be self-aware. You don't need to fill every silence. And I think that this is where people lose it in relationships as well. This is where people with these relationships, where they fizzle out because they feel like they have to be on all the time. That's exhausting. You should get to a place of comfort where you can just do your own thing together. We do this. And we do our own thing together in the same room all the time.
Yeah. And you said to me a while ago that I was one of the few people that doesn't drain you. Most people you can only spend so much time with before it gets draining.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's usually when I struggle to answer questions sometimes, especially when I'm not in the mood to do so, or to do things when I'm not in the mood to do it. So if I feel like I have to do it, it's gonna drain me. It's that analogy of having so many spoons. If you only have 24 spoons in a day and you use up, and you've only got those 24 for that day, and you start to use excess amounts of energy, you start using your spoons quicker. And then if you start taking spoons from the next day, then by the end of the week, you have no spoons left. And it's that. I don't have the spoons for a lot of people because they require things of me. Our friendship doesn't really require anything of me except for effort.
But even that's not like...
It's not big effort.
It's not, yeah. Well, I suppose it is big effort, but it doesn't feel like it's big effort because of the friendship we have. Because of the relationship that we have and the way that we know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's interesting you said that about the spoons, but I'll say this point quickly and then I do think we need to wrap up because we're running out of time. I think we've run over actually. I feel the same way about decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Like I find it's sometimes very difficult to just, someone asks me a simple question like, what do you want for tea? Or do you want, I don't know, I'm trying to think of anything, or salted popcorn or sweet popcorn. I mean, the answer would always obviously be sweet popcorn, but that's just an example.
Salted for me. She's disgusting.
And I guess to the point where I'm just like, I didn't, just pick one, I'll have it. And Richard Branson, I believe, does this. he has the same shorts and the same t-shirts, and he just takes the first, because he thinks if you decide what you wear in the morning, that's one. Because if you only got so many decisions in a day, that's one more decision that's left for later on in the day. And I feel like that. So when it gets to the evening and somebody's like, "Oh, let's do whatever you want," like when my friend Danny came up for the weekend and we went to Chester, and he was like, "Do you want to go play mini golf, or do you want to go to the history about medicine through the ages?" And I was like, "I honestly don't." And he was like, "Well, because the whole in the mini golf is Harry Potter themed. There's a Harry Potter themed."
And we already did the. Oh no, it wasn't
Not
me
in
and
Chester.
someone else did it. Go on.
Oh yeah, I was
In
going to say, I haven't
Chester,
done
yeah.
that. And he was like, "Well, I know you really want to do that," and I'm like, "Dude, you're the guest. Just pick one."
See, I understand that, but I feel like that. At the end
But
of my day.
he's not to know that. He's not to know that sometimes.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same in restaurants. I'm like, I've reached the end of the day. Just pick something for me and I'll eat it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we have that in common very much so, because we work in high stress environments. So by the end of my day, after decision making all day, because that's my job to do that. By the end of my day, I don't care what we do. I don't care what we eat. I probably just want to stay at home and do it that way. Do you know what I mean? So I will do whatever it is that you want me to do, because I've not had to think about it. And I sort of feel like there is actually a name for this, but I can't think what it is. If you know in the comments what it is, it's like a, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll look it up and also write in the comments. It's this inability to make decisions by the end of the day when you're burnt out through through decisions.
And also talking to people.
Oh my god. Oh,
If
people are so draining, and when they know nothing of nothing. I can't. Oh.
But at the end of the day, after work, you come home. There's some people I can deal with, that I can spend as much time with. But if I'm watching TV and I've been at work all day in a healthcare environment, making decisions, talking to people, and you have to be polite to patients because you get struck off if you tell them to fuck off, right? Even when they're being arseholes. Sometimes I just don't want to have to say anything to anybody. And then my housemate's like, "Why are you always so this and the other?" So I had to sit down with one of my housemates the other day and explain the situation. I was like, "I am approachable." Because he thought I wasn't approachable, because whenever he said anything, he said hi, I'd just reply with hi and wouldn't engage with him. So I said, "This is the situation, this is my day. By all means, come and talk to me and I'll talk back to you. But I'm not going to be the one to engage in conversation."
Your phone taking the piss.
I've put it on aeroplane mode.
I know.
I've put it on silent. And I've turned the Wi-Fi off. I don't know what else you want
System
me to
sound.
do, Garcia.
Because you're not. I don't know.
I can't figure out why it just won't go quiet. It did this at the CCC during Andy's speech on Sunday about wokeism in comedy. And I looked up and American Rob, shout out American Rob, just gave me this glare and just mouthed, "Turn it off."
You turn it off. Okay.
But I had already put it on silent. I'd done all the things.
But
Anyway.
I don't even know. But I'm gonna say that I understand that people drain us, but no man is an island. And I know what I said before, but we need people. We need social interactions, and there have to be positive social interactions, because not all social interactions, like we just said, the draining ones, they're not going to help you getting over that level of loneliness or things like that. You need to get out there. Stop being an incel. Stop being a creep on the internet, and get out and touch grass. Go and meet people. Go say hi to your neighbours. What happened to community? Community is killed. The death of community is the death of socialisation.
Start relying on people rather than devices.
Indeed.
And on that bombshell.
I know.
Sorry, that was a Top Gear quote.
Join us next time when we'll be talking about something else. But, what I will say, I'll give my final thoughts and then I won't ask you for yours. But final thoughts for me. Friendship is what you put into it. But not everybody is worth the effort. You've got to figure out who is and who isn't.
And that comes with experience and time. And you can pretty much pick up red flags pretty early on. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about relationship red flags, I'm talking about purely friendship red flags. You can definitely... And a lot of people are blaggers.
And a lot of people will just tell you what they think
you want to hear.
You want to hear. They're toxic. Stop letting toxic friendships are just as bad as toxic relationships. Oh, but anyway, these were final thoughts. But we'll have to do a part 2 to this because there's so much more to say on toxic friendships because we've had some pretty toxic friendships.
Yeah, we have.
And they've fallen away by the wayside. I didn't even go into the facts on friendships yet, but we'll do a part 2. We'll come back to this.
This episode's just kind of been a bit wishy-washy, just us kind of sitting here and chatting shit.
Isn't that all the episodes?
As opposed to bringing anything.
No, we haven't done any research in this, really.
We just kind of decided that we were going to do an episode and sat down and went for it. We didn't really.
But do you know what? I feel like it's sometimes these conversations are what's important because it's how you talk in your living room. And that's what this is about.
That is
you don't research in your living room unless it's a quick Google search. But I must say, like, friendships are a hard one. They always have been, but we need them. Because if we didn't, then we'd be fine. But we're in a antidepressant.
Yeah, look out for part 2 anyway.
Epidemic. Yeah.
Look out for part 2, and I think if we do a part 2, we'll get some facts and data and statistics about friendships and other people's perception of friendships as well.
And also we'll be talking about other people's business, because of course we will. Jay. Join us next time.
See you later, guys.
Ciao for now.
Brown cow.
That's racist. You can't say that.
You say it to me all the time.
I don't say ciao for now, white cow.
You say ciao for now, brown cow, and then I reply.
No, when you say it's racist.
That's not how
it's got racial undertones. I don't like it, Isabel.
Well, tough shit.
I don't like it.
Tough shit.
Okay. Where are you, internet police? Racism.
See you later, guys.
Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of our views. That's the point of the conversation. Join in.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.